Hey guys, welcome to a new video. So this patch was pretty fun, right? League of Censer, if you don't have one, you're probably gonna lose. But thankfully, it's almost time for 719 now, where we must finally get some nerfs right, change in the meta. And it's actually probably true because I think Censer is kind of getting a buff. Also, by the way, I'm doing a massive RP giveaway with loads of my YouTube friends. You probably subscribe to most of them already. If not, then you definitely should do. But there's a link down below. It's super simple. You just click the link and you can enter and then you get some free RP. List of changes are below, but let's start with the bot lane meta. Definitely it's going to change up this time around, and these are the biggest changes for the patch. Actually, as soon as I said that, I've realized that the biggest changes are the reworks to Azir and Vayne. Now we'll go into them properly later, but they will be played a lot more. So this is what you need to know if they're on your team or you're against them. So for Azir, he needs 3 soldiers out to do the most damage now because he gets an attack speed buff when that happens. So if you're with an Azir, fight when he has 3. If you're against him, don't fight when he has 3 out. His E dash gives him a shield instantly now. His Q is the same. His R actually can be flashed and dashed over though once it has stopped. So that wall is no longer going to permanently bounce people off it. Zinzao is a bit bigger. Every 3 hits he's going to do more damage and heal the same as before, even though it's on his passive now. His W is new though. It's a 2-part ability. The second part of this, the thrusting, is what you have to worry about. It hurts the most and it slows as well for quite a lot. His E is the same though. Very short, slow, and gives him attack speed now. His ultimate is kind of new though. It's the same where it sweeps and does damage and knocks people back, but it also blocks damage if you aren't standing in his circle around him. The more he attacks, the longer that circle lasts. So moving on to AD now, and even as an AD carry player, where this should be awesome for me, Ardent Censer meta really sucks. So if I don't have one on my team, but the enemy does, I kind of feel like if I don't get super fed, they are eventually going to do more than me from the free stats. So whatever, anyway, it doesn't matter. There are changes now, but these are weird and kind of a buff really. So the attack speed on the item that it grants is actually going up from 25% to 20 to 35% based on level. The on-hit stuff is changing. There's no health drain or the heal on it anymore, but the damage is up from 25 to 20 to 35. There is a new part to this as well though, like the attack speed and on-hit now apply to the caster as well as to the target, so it buffs both of them. Now first off, health drain is really good early game when you kind of first get this item, when you're building triple crit especially and you have no lifesteal. So early game, Censer is nerfed a little bit, but late game, 25 health drain means basically nothing, and now having 10% more attack speed and 10 more on hit damage per attack is probably actually better. For AD carries, you want to think of this like better for late game, same damage early, actually probably better damage overall, but there's no healing. This new thing is really weird though. Like for most people, think about Janna and stuff, right? Who cares about attack speed and on hit damage? It's nice for lane though, actually, just not later. Imagine in 2v2 fights, Janna adds maybe like 100 to 200 extra damage from Censer auto on hit damage if she just attacks now. That is actually really good. Later into the game though, this could be insane for a few picks. I'm thinking maybe like a Kale, for example, Nidalee, maybe Lulu could be good as well, like a mid lane Lulu with some AP, but there must be more as well. So overall, I kind of think this is a buff. Like it's more damage later into the game. It's more damage in lane because supports now adds the on hit damage as well in fights. The downside is there is no heal, and this does hurt early game and mid game for sure. 100% I would rather have the heal than a bit of extra attack speed, but it doesn't make that much difference late game once you pick up lifesteal. Let me know what you think about this one, but like Twitch and Tristana, for example, with 10% more attack speed seems pretty good to me. And it's not just those. Caitlyn is going to be back now 100%. Like 3 months ago, she was broken and I was begging for nerfs. I'm not sure if I want to go back to that now with Censer making it worse as well, but it seems like we're going to get there. There are a lot of stat changes. The main ones are going to be her health is a bit lower early in the lane phase, but attack speed growth is back up to 4%. Now that is the change that killed her before when she was nerfed, where she went from like top tier to trash tier. That was 100% the nerf. So that is back to where it was before when she was a sick late game champion. A few other things to keep in mind. Her passive headshots now work on towers, which is absolutely insane. Jhin got this change for his 4th crit shot and it was completely broken afterwards. Now Caitlyn is going to be so good at taking towers, it's unreal. Your Q damage beyond the first is down to 33% less of the damage, so it's a nerf to wave clear, poke, and pushing power. Your W base damage is actually going to be up now. The AD is actually up as well. It's a bonus AD from total AD, so probably about the same. The duration of traps is going to be scaling now. Recharge is much worse though late game, actually pretty much the same early. So basically the short version of all of these are Caitlyn's late game is back to being insane now. She has the range, the attack speed, which is back, and even her traps are going to sting. Caitlyn's early is going to be a little bit worse, but not that much worse. Like she can take towers better though with headshots now if she pushes. I'm kind of afraid she's going to be overpowered again because you've got a late game champion who is insane at taking towers. So that kind of means she's going to get to her late game items, get gold faster. Like if she gets ahead, she's going to stay ahead and keep getting stronger. At least it won't just be Tristana and stuff every game, but like Caitlyn is going to be so good again. And Vayne is the other AD getting touched, but this one might suck. Your Q bonus damage is up up 20%, which is pretty cool, but it cannot crit anymore. This is what made Vayne competitive in the crit meta we have at the moment. She can build crit with Shiv and she can burst with her tumble. Now she can't really do that as well. Your W true damage is kind of rebalanced, so the minimum damage is up a bit, but the damage is now 4 to 12% instead of 6 to 12%. There is a new effect though on Halter, which is the biggest thing. Your duration is extended by 4 seconds when a champion dies that you have tagged or you kill. A lot like Jinx's passive, like how it works. This new ultimate thingy is going to be make or break, honestly. Unless it's actually that insane, it feels like kind of nerfs to Vayne overall. Like the Q crit thing actually is massive. That is what made her decent. Late game, she'll still be really good. She'll be more of a consistent damage source, not upfront burst damage, but Shiv and Infinity Edge as a power spike isn't really going to be there as much anymore. Now Janna is also getting a rework kind of as well. It's like trying to make her less AFK shield spam and actually do something, but I'm not sure that really works with the champion. There are loads of base stat changes. Lower health, base AD and stuff are probably the biggest ones, but her passive now gets move speed, obviously as normal. But the new thing, Janna's basic attacks and single target damage deal bonus magic damage equal to a percentage of her bonus move speed. That's probably the weirdest change this patch, but okay. Anyway, moving on to her Q, the cooldown is lower early, range up, and now also reaches the target in 1.5 seconds no matter how long it goes. This is the main part of this actually. Whether it's max range or instant cast is always going to have the same travel time, and that will take some time to get used to if you're playing Janna or against her. Her W cooldown is 4 seconds shorter, bonus move speed down though as well, and slow duration is actually down. Her E used to be 10 seconds cooldown at every single rank. Now it starts at 18 and gets back down to 10 at rank 5. So basically the shield cannot be used as much early into the lane phase. It makes playing versus her early game a lot easier, I think actually. Like she might be able to do a bit more in fights with these changes, but if you run a kill lane versus her, wait out that shield cooldown, then you have 18 or 16 or 14 seconds to punish before it's back up. That's pretty good. It's only a few seconds though, so if you don't time this perfectly, it's not going to kill the champion. You just kind of have to sit back, bend over for the first few levels, I guess, until you scale up, unless you want to fight, and then you're kind of okay. The changes you have to know for the bot lane meta is Censer doesn't heal anymore, but buffs the caster as well. Caitlyn is back and really strong late game. Vayne Q cannot crit, it's not as much burst, and Janna can be abused early a bit more. So we'll probably see a rise of Braum actually, who's a good teamfight champion. Not Censer, but good lockdown, fighting, and teamfight impact, which I think can kind of rival Censer's impact as well. Caitlyn is going to be up there again, which might mean Tristana, Twitch, and Jinx all get a bit worse because they won't be as strong as her early game. Champions though with Runans and Censer get hit a bit harder. They used to heal 75 per auto because the health drain was on hit, and on hit applies per bolt, so 3 times. Damage was also a lot more as well. So Kog'Maw, Twitch, Jinx, Kalista, and stuff, those champions will hate this a bit more because they lose more healing and more damage. Those are the biggest changes, but quickly for the other roles. For top lane, Malphite is getting a change to his W, which is now 10 to 30% armor increase, just like passively anyway. But with his passive shield active, that bonus is going to be tripled, so 30 to 90% bonus armor, which is actually pretty good. This is a lot like how Sejuani's passive works right now. Like when she jumps into fights, it gives her more stats to start a fight, right? Same with Malphite. It will be pretty good for diving in, but it's not going to last very long, and actually that's kind of the point of the change really. I low-key think though Malphite is okay in this meta where AD carries are really important and you can stack armor and hard engage to the backline. There are a few item changes. Bramble Vest, the damage is going down a bit and it's 100 gold more expensive, which is good news for champions like Fiora, Riven, especially Jace as well. People rush Bramble Vest to counter. The changes you have to know though is if you see a Malphite, when he has his passive shield up, he's going to have a lot of armor, so don't waste your big cooldowns on him. Rushing Bramble Vest as well might not be the best idea anymore unless you really need to. So top lane is getting more important, I think, like in the game. Fiora is pretty disgusting for now. We're going to see a lot of Fiora, Darius, Riven, Jax, Yasuo, Renekton, these kind of like bruiser carry picks. I watch out for like Singed, Talon, Kennen, who are actually popping up more again now. They're really good carry picks and they're actually pretty decent. So for the mid lane, first change is to Veigar, whatever. Attack range is up a bit, but the W change is the big one. The cooldown is now going to be 8 seconds at all ranks, which is lower, but every 50 seconds of your passive, you get to reduce that cooldown by 10%. I'm not sure about you, but playing against a Veigar past mid game is not that cool anyway. I don't know what it is. Maybe having this super long stun you have to avoid or get trapped by, getting one shot by one button is ultimate, or even losing 70% of my health if I just like miss the W hitting me in the face. Now having to dodge even more of these AoE Ws is not really going to be something I'm looking forward to. It's adding to that scaling factor though for sure. And now instead of having his R burst, and that's kind of his big thing, you've got almost a spammable Q and W damage as well. That's pretty nuts. Scaling champions always do a lot better below the plat level, so I expect if you play in those elo brackets, bronze, silver, gold, maybe the bottom of plat, you're probably going to see a lot more Veigar players. There are a lot of things with this Azir rework, so I will sum this up. It's going to be more aimed at if you see him, not really if you're going to be playing him, if that makes sense. His Q and his W are pretty much the same. The W has the same kind of soldier spawn. The duration is very slightly longer. Cast range is up and recharge time is quicker earlier. It has a new thing though, where if you have 3 or more soldiers out, you gain 20 to 60% attack speed. So basically, if you're with an Azir, fight when he has 3. If you're against him, don't fight when he has 3 out. His E will be a bigger shield and immediate on cast. It also spawns a soldier if he hits you, and his ultimate cooldown is shorter. The wall is bigger, but it only bounces you off when it's moving. Once it has stopped and it's in its final place, it acts the same as any other wall in the game, like Anivia's wall. He will most likely be around a lot more now. I think he is stronger, but it's the same deal. If you suck at him, you will still suck at him. This doesn't make him easier to play, it just makes him more of a late game DPS threat. These are the only 2 mid lane changes, but it does mean that Azir is actually decent again against kind of assassin champions. He can poke them down before they get in range to kill him. So he might rise up against like passive Orianas, or for example like mage types and some assassins, but poke is a really good way to shut him down. If you can outrange your soldiers, he can't do anything. So Vel'Koz, Xerath, Ziggs for example will probably look better this patch if we see more Azir. Now moving on to the jungle, finally the Xin Zhao rework is the only change here actually. So his passive, very quickly, the third auto attack does bonus damage and heals him. His Q is the same but less damage early game. His W is new, remember, so there's 2 sides of it, a slash in front first and then a thrust forward. The cast time is faster with attack speed, so keep that in mind. For late game it will be a lot smoother, and the second part does a lot of damage and also slows. His E is the same dash but less slow on that, and also gives him attack speed, and his ultimate does damage and knocks back like before. It then blocks damage though from outside this circle around him. That circle lasts longer the more he attacks and uses abilities, so you should expect for it to last between like 4 and 6 seconds most likely. It seems like he's going to be really good late game now. His whole kit is geared to scale with attack speed. He's got good AD ratios on his kit and does percentage health damage on his ultimate as well, so he's actually going to be really good late game damage. With a jungle, like really what you want to expect is Nidalee probably to be the most broken carry jungler around this patch, especially the higher reload you get. Sejuani, Rammus, Cho'Gath though are going to be the top tanks, and we'll probably have like a lot of other popular picks like Gragas for example, Kha'Zix, Lee Sin and stuff like that. Hope you guys found this look into 719 useful. Thank you for watching, but for now I'll leave you with the robots.